afternoon, or rather good evening in India. Welcome to the second, more or less unofficial interactive webinar that we wanted to do. So this is also again a general queries webinar. Last year they did topic wise, so they had a webinar for visa and housing separately. This year we thought because of all these situations, it's all overlapping. So let's do it again, all mixed. So it's pretty simple. We have all your questions sorted into a presentation. We'll go one by one. And there are, to be frank, a lot of weird questions also, you'll know. But yeah, we will cover all of them. And some of them are not answerable by us because we are also students at the end of the day. So some of them we'll have to chuck it right in front of you. And yeah, that's it. So in the first half, we'll have questions that you already gave us. And if you have any doubts in between, you can ask in the chat box. Please mute yourself when we are talking, and then you can have an interactive session at the end. And don't talk over each other. Just raise your hand. We will get to you. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen. It's visible. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. I would request everyone to mute their mics, please.
Yeah, I can still hear. It's okay. Please mute yours. Something in the chat box.
Harry's voice goes down.
My voice goes down and up. Okay.
Yeah, it's because everyone is talking over him. That's the
Yeah.
problem. So I'm muting everyone right now. If you need to talk, just raise your hand and I will unmute you.
Like there's a feature that's raise your hand, not like.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you? Is it proper now?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's before going into the questions, we have something else that we did in the past few weeks. We said we'll be coming up with a booklet, and we actually did. We found some time to make a booklet with your basic query. So it's like a general outline of the things that you asked in the Telegram group. You've been asking all along since the beginning. It's not just you, even people from next year, they'll be asking the same questions. So we thought we'll do something for you guys. So yeah. So this is what we did. So we made this little booklet called India to TU Delft, a minimal transition guide. And you can see here we have these topics covered. We have housing, visa, insurance, flight, things to bring, documents, and a little bit about after coming here and after coming here. So these are not very intense paragraphs, but just pointers, tips and pointers that you usually ask about. Yeah, so we'll be making this public today evening, hopefully, on the group and on our social media platforms. Yeah, so just giving you a heads up, and thanks to everyone who worked for this, the ISA members and also Ravi, who's been very enthusiastic in this whole venture of helping you guys out. So yeah, so without further ado, let's go to the questions. First one is housing. So I'll answer some of these questions for you. Very simple questions. Okay, so first question is, so I put all the questions up in a slide so that you can also read and then it's easier. So the first question is, does Duo charge for electricity bill and water, etc.? Is it not covered under the whole rent? So they have something called net rent and something else. There's like a base rent and net rent. So base rent will be something like something like 400. The water bill and all the other services will be added to it, and then it becomes the net rent. So you have to pay only the net rent. You don't have to pay it separately as two bills, but it will all come as one single Duo bill. So that's the answer to that question. How to choose options from Duo. So this has been already discussed. You'll get I don't know if anyone of you have already got email credentials for this housing thing. But anyways, in the coming days, hopefully those who paid early will get your login details for a separate website. It's not a TU Delft website. It's another housing website where you log in, and it's available only for 14 days. Your credentials are active only for 14 days. You log in and you choose whatever house you want. So in there you get all the vacant rooms available through Duo. So that'll be like, I don't know, a lot of houses, and you can filter them just like you filter stuff online in a online shopping market or whatever. And you can also see how long your faculties are, or how long the city center is. So all these things are visible there. So cycling distance, room sizes, room numbers, what are the available facilities in the room, which floor the room is located. All these things will be there. So you just have to choose a housing, confirm it, and I think within 2 days they give you like a financial letter for housing, pay the bill within 14 days, and then the house is yours. Then they give you a contract and everything. Then you can move into that house since starting from the starting date of the contract. Is the housing contract for 1 year or 2 years? It's always for 1 year. From Duo, the housing contract is always for 1 year. But you don't have to go out of the house. They always give you an option. If you are in a Duo house, you always have an option to renew your contract at the end of 1 year. For example, the first years I just renewed my contract last month for another year, so I'll be staying in the same room for next year. But you can't change within Duo. You can only stay in the same room. You can't change any room or any building, because then it's another process for them. They have to do all the things all over again. So that's why they give you this option of not changing the room, but then still extending the contract. So it's for 1 year, to answer your question. It's more likely to be that first quarter is going to be online. Do we need to have a residence permit? A residence permit is only when you have to come into this country. So if you're planning to do it online at home, then you don't need a residence permit. But I don't think that's how it's going to work this year. It is going to be partially physical and partially online, according to TU Delft. It's not yet officially confirmed. So these are more faculty-based answers. Some faculties might need to be on campus sometimes, and most of the times online. So I don't think this no residence permit thing is not going to work. So you'll have to be here, I think, most probably 90%. So yeah. In the last webinar, I said that they would try to give pictures. Yeah, so about the pictures, I had already shared a link with all the Duo housing information, with all the houses available in Delft. Pictures are also available there, and we also tried contacting some people, but we don't really get pictures of their private houses. We'll still try to get you pictures of their rooms. I don't know if it's easy.
Gary.
Yeah.
I have some of them. I can share it with you guys later.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Ravi will give you those pictures. Great. Is it possible for all admits to get accommodation? No, all admits won't be getting accommodation. So they have this limit for accommodation. So they can only afford to accommodate that much people. So that's why they give you this notice already that people who paid till the end of May is going to get the accommodation, because their quota has run out. So those who paid after that, after the deadline for accommodation, please do try to get other housing options through all these other websites that we've already mentioned in the group, and so it's also there on the PDF of the document that I just showed you. So I'll be sharing that, so you can go to things like websites like room.nl or even Facebook groups. So you get a lot of rooms there. People list their rooms there. Also, like we always say, be aware of frauds, because there have been a lot of incidents. So make sure before paying money or to signing a contract, make sure it's authentic, and you check out the rooms. If possible, send someone who you know from Delft to see the room by themselves. Yeah, sources for alternate housing, I just mentioned them. The list will be provided on the document. Visa, is Vivek here? Vivek is not here.
Yeah, Vivek, but he'll join in 2 or 3 minutes. I think I spoke to him a while ago.
Skip Visa for now. When he joins, he's going to answer these questions. Insurance, Ravi?
Okay, so for insurance, I would say to begin with, I'm going to put an informal disclaimer, that is, I know information mainly about OOM because that was the one which I chose when I selected my insurance. So I'll only talk about that. I think is Siddharth available, Gary? He can talk about Tata AIG.
Yeah, I'm here. You first finish your part, and in the end I can add.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so how and when to purchase it? So OOM is part of the TU Delft International, like the international insurances. So they have a tie-up with TU Delft. So they would, some of you must have already gotten a mail from them by now. Yeah, it's June, right? So yeah, by now you must have gotten a mail regarding this. So most of the details, to be honest, have already been mentioned on the website, but we can still answer these questions. So when to purchase it? They will send you a link through email in which you have to register. They will ask you to make your own account in their website, and you'll have to log in with some credentials, and you can check the different policies they have. So in that, you can choose. In that, they have many options in which you have to choose student insurance, and in that you can see what are the various facilities or the medical expenses they would be covering. Any other issues to be aware of? Well, so for example, I since I'm a person who wears spectacles. For me, I this frame is from India, so this is not covered in their insurance directly unless and until you buy it from some specific stores over here. So that is one major issue. Yeah, as Siddharth rightly said in the group chat, checking the coverage of every policy is very important. We can go to the next question. What else should we get? Yeah, so these two questions, to be very honest, everything is clearly mentioned on the portal. If you have any questions, you can get back to me or a PM. But I think when we joined, the insurance cost was about €45.38 per month, which covered most of the basic medical facilities available. Like for example, in case you're in an emergency situation, you don't need to pay for the ambulance, for example. It will be covered under insurance. All sorts of major accidents are covered in this. Bikes, yes, that's an important thing. Bikes, I think, are covered in this as well. Accommodation, not necessarily. I don't know why they meant accommodation, but yeah, there are a few insurance companies listed on the website. Which one would you suggest? I would say okay, so for our batch, they had has increased the insurance policy recently to by about €8. So if you find it a bit more expensive, I guess there are cheaper ones in India like Tata AIG. I guess Siddharth can talk a bit more about that.
You want to finish all the questions then, should I say, or should I add it now?
Only question.
That's all done, man. After this is
Okay. So look, it's very simple. All you have to do is first look at your own health. That if you feel that you fall sick a lot, you have to be very much specific about what are the coverages. Like spectacles, as Ravi showed, is one of the things which you should be aware of. In my opinion, it is purely a personal opinion of what I have noticed now. Like since OHM has been increasing in their policy charges to €53 a month. On contrary, if you see Indian insurances, like for first year, when you come here first year, I think in my opinion, Indian insurances work, but always be aware of the coverages which they have. Many people use Tata AIG. We are not recommending it, but many people use it. It is advisable for the first year because if you calculate it comes up to around €18 a month. And what Dutch insurance is, it is around 53, so it's 3 times more. So it depends on your your preference. When someone's asking about asthma and all covered, as Aditya said, it is. But always be aware that check the coverages for yourself, and then you will be in a better position to decide which one to go for. Mainly, you need a Dutch insurance only when you're working over here. So if suppose you're doing some part-time or you're doing any other job over here, then only you need a Dutch insurance. Otherwise, for first year, I would say Indian insurance is better, but then still decide for yourself. So
yeah,
it's about saving money. It's about saving money versus not. So, but always be aware of the coverages. That is the main thing which everyone checks.
Okay. Let's go back.
Is claiming insurance from India more difficult? Actually, in Dutch insurance, it's very easy because you just go to the hospital and you don't even pay directly. The insurance company pays. But there are also wordings now that they are changing that policy that first now you pay and then the company refunds you. So that would be same process as what an Indian insurance would be. Like Tata AIG has much, I don't have Tata AIG. I am still using a Dutch one. But I have just noticed that it is very easy that you just go online, put your claim and you get it. And whatever of the Dutch insurance I just said, that you have to first pay and then you get it. It is not yet officially out. In my as far as I know, but I have heard a lot of things about it. So
We have,
Siddharth,
There's a
is
question
there
by
any
Siddharth
question,
Bokil. I'm unmuting him.
no, we are not sure. Like, I am not aware of many Indian insurance companies. You can just find them on many websites. Like, finding a Indian insurance is not that difficult. Just look for
we have
overseas
things
one.
like Tata AIG, Reliance, and it's like it's all over the advertisements and media. You can just
Yeah, like just go to policy bazaars or something like that. So
Yeah.
No,
if
and
someone has to
no,
work part time,
there is one more point here to note. When you're taking insurances, right? If apart from your own coverage of medical things and all, you should also see to it that it complies the visa requirements. Because you for a visa to be valid in the
there's a
Netherlands,
minimum requirement.
certain
yeah,
coverage. Yeah.
that's true.
So we can't really. I know the next question would be what are those requirements? We are not really sure about every single specification,
The
but
best-
you need to kind of do a bit of research. If you want to save money with the Indian insurance, you need to do a bit of research of what would those requirements be.
And also, it's nice to compare the claims with the OOM. What do they cover versus what is covered in the Indian insurance? It would be nice to
Siddharth,
compare.
didn't you do this last year in the Mumbai group?
yeah, I was thinking of it of going for Indian insurances, but then it is like that time my priorities were different. But now when I've come here after this moment when they increased to 53, now I'm like, okay, I should have changed it. For a year I would have saved a lot of money, but nevertheless now I can't change to an Indian insurance. So
I have an
Yeah,
Indian
but
insurance.
the one general advice I'd give to everyone is don't come without insurance. It's not necessary.
you
like,
can't come only without insurance.
Yeah.
So
It's,
it just
it's totally okay to have an Indian insurance, by the way. I have an Indian insurance. I've
Yeah,
never had a problem here.
but the only thing to be sure about it is check the coverages so
Yeah.
that you don't land into trouble later. Like you'll go on saving money and you'll take the least coverage. And if God forbid, touch wood, if something happens to you, if it doesn't get covered, medical charges over here are hefty.
Yeah, very, very high. I mean, ambulances can go up to 900 euros. I have
800 euros for one time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
expensive.
Let's
We
go to
don't
the
need
next-
insurance for before the visa interview, no?
No.
No, it's not necessary. It was needed for Shenzhen, but I don't think it is needed for MVV.
Yeah, MBB, I don't think so.
Shenzhen, you
Yeah,
need
we'll
to.
move to the next section.
We'll cover that in the MVV, the
Yeah.
visa section.
Oh, yeah.
Vivek,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead.
I think that question is already there.
Let's go ahead, anyways.
Vivek.
Yes. First of all, like, sorry for being late. I had a call, so I joined late. Okay. So Gary, how does it go? Like, I can just read the question and answer the same, right?
Yeah.
Is it something like after getting the resident permit, I can travel across Europe with the MVV, or should I reapply for another visa to travel across Europe? See, it's like this. When you start from India, you will have MVV. That is valid for 3 months from the date your MVV is approved. So you'll be landing here with the MVV, and before the MVV expires, you need to collect your resident permit here in the Netherlands. And that will be your official ID or document for staying in the Netherlands and traveling across Europe. Whichever country in Europe allows entry for Schengen visa, you are eligible to go to those countries with your resident permit freely without any other visa or permissions. But just you have to check those Schengen countries. That's it. For those countries, you are allowed to go without a visa. Your resident permit is valid for that. And your resident permit is valid for the duration of your education or the duration of your enrollment with TU Delft. For any reason, if you unenroll in between or if you want to take a break, then your resident permit gets cancelled. Then you would have to again go through the process of MVV and then apply for resident permit. That's again, it happens again. But until the time you're enrolled here, you have a valid resident permit. Then just to give you a continuation of that, after your education, you will have a year called the Zoekjaar, where you are allowed to search for a job. So you will have a valid visa for 1 more year, but the Zoekjaar, only if you apply, then you get it. If you feel that you will apply for a Zoekjaar sometime later, then you can take a break and then apply for a Zookr. Because the Zookr, once you apply, you have only 1 year of validity for that. But without applying for Zookr, if you have already got a job, then the company which you have applied for will apply for a work permit for you. So that is how this process works.
Next question.
Is it something? Okay, next. Any suggestions and advice regarding obtaining visa for your parents if they wish to accompany right now? They have, if anyone is accompanying you, they have to apply for a usual short-term visa, that is a tourist visa, to come along with you. That doesn't have anything to do with your MVV, or you can't justify it in any way. They have to apply for a separate short-term visa. What benefits can I avail from having a resident permit I get for 2 years? Benefits there, I don't. And whoever is asked this question, can you tell what kind of benefits are you looking for here? The benefit is you can travel around Europe. That is there.
The next question, I think it's a continuation of the same question.
For the future job prospects, is it the same question? Okay. For the future job prospects in the EU, other country, will I be at any advantage even that I would have a previous resident permit in Netherlands? I don't think so. Whatever you're having now is a student resident permit, and it is just valid for you to study here. That will not give you any kind of advantage in the future or future job prospects. Yes, the advantage would be in the case where instead of applying for a job from India, if you are already here, that is always an advantage. That is the reason that we are coming here to study and apply for jobs directly over here. But other than that, only because you hold a resident permit, there is no separate advantage. How do the same differ for the student who studies here? Oh, so I think I've already answered your question, because since I'm telling that the resident permit doesn't have any special advantage, it doesn't matter where you are. Is it ETH or Netherlands? Gary, next question.
Yeah.
Is Netherlands willing to invite international students since there is so much delay in MVV visa? See, as of now, you can check the IND website also. There are FAQs. There is no delay or no hindrances for giving MVV. It is mentioned there that the MVV process is as usual. And Netherlands is opening up borders for within the EU travel also. So as of now, nothing. As of now, no, there is no delay. The process is going to happen as usual, and you need not worry about MVV, because it is a university that applies for your MVV, gets your approval, and the only thing you have to do is just go. It's a formality for you to go to the embassy and collect your MVV. Is it necessary to show bank balance at visa interview? If yes, then what is the range? I have heard that for a student who has taken a bank loan, the loan sanction letter is sufficient for what? With Netherlands, see, it's a different case. With other countries, it is like you have to show a sufficient bank balance in order to come to the country. But in Netherlands, you would have, for TU Delft, you would have already paid the amount of your 1 year living expense plus your tuition fee. That is more than sufficient to show the embassy or the authorities that you are eligible for entering this country. And so only the letter saying that you have already paid, the letter in the sense, the transfer receipt which you have, and your enrollment letter to the TU Delft, that is more than sufficient. And as I told before, your visa is already approved, but from the process which TU Delft does. What you do in India is to just go and collect it.
Yeah, I think that's the end of visa. And then documents.
Do we have any questions in the chat section?
I think Nitin is
They were asking questions.
And Kshitij is taking care of it.
It's fine. We are
Okay.
answering. No worries about that.
Okay, cool.
Aditya?
Yeah. What are the documents required to be shown at the airport and once we arrive in Netherlands? Do we need to show any extra finances from the? Okay, so the main documents what you need to take is your stamp on your passport, like the visa thing on your passport, and then an acceptance letter from TU Delft. If you have an insurance, like that sanctioned insurance letter, get that as well. And yeah, like you have paid the fees. I think you get an email. I think in my batch I got an email, so I still had that with me also. And my apostle birth certificate, which is apostle, I had that with me. So basically, I had these 5 documents in my hand. So what I did was I uh, uh, photostated all these 5 documents, and I had with me like in 2 different bags, so that just so that something happens, I still have a duplicate copy. So as far as it comes, do we need to show any extra finances? No, you need not show any extra finances. All that guy at the immigration is looking for, that do you have a visa? And yeah, one more thing what I missed was your housing contract.
Okay.
Yeah. So just make sure that you have a housing contract with you as well. So that's pretty much it. So they don't look how much finances you have.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always good to have all your official documents and confirmation documents regarding your whole travel and admission history.
Yeah.
Because as far as the airport authority or the immigration authority is concerned, they don't care if you're a student or because you're entering their country, right? Because they can ask you for any proof. Have all these documents in your hand baggage with you. It's
Yeah.
always do that. Anything can go wrong.
Yeah. And have 2 or 3 of them just in case.
Yeah. Next question.
Need to know a general list of documents needed apart from visa and academic docs. I think I just mentioned right now.
Yeah.
I think those 6 documents. I just go again over it. Your visa stamp on the passport, your housing contract, your acceptance letter, the thing you have paid your fees, the insurance thing. Covered all of them, right? Yeah.
Have a degree certificate and all the
Yeah.
academic.
Yeah. All the academic things. Yeah. Regarding things like apostle or birth certificate, etc. Do you mean that do you have to take the apostle with you? If the person who asked the question
I
can
think it's about how to get it done or
how
what is
to
or
how
what
to
your
get
How to
general.
get it
Okay.
in depends on where you're born, right? In Chennai, for example, it's different. In other places in India, it is different.
I think it's about how to get the apostle done.
yeah
Hello,
I
guys.
Who's this?
Yeah, I was the one who asked
Yeah.
regarding the thing. I mean, initially, I mean, like, are there any other documents I have to look like? Right now, I have to get the apostille of birth certificate, or are there any other extra documents that aren't mentioned usually, while discussing about these? So that's what I just wanted.
No, I think
Well,
the
I
6
don't miss it.
documents what we mentioned, just that, and I don't think there's any extra other documents as such, because yeah, they just want to see that you're a legitimate person entering their country borders.
Just
I
one
mean,
apostle
so
and birth certificate is all you need. Nothing more than
Yeah.
no other apostolization is required.
No
except for
apostle, no attestation, nothing is needed. Just this.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And regarding the insurance thing paper, you told the document, one of the 6.
Yeah.
So what if I want to get insurance in Netherlands? So should I just pay from here and then go back? I mean, and then get my confirmation here itself, or I can come to Netherlands and then pay my insurance?
You apply
What
to
ha-
He
Yeah.
can do that.
India and you'll get a confirmation.
Yeah,
And
he can do that.
Yeah. So I think
See,
what I yeah. Okay. Go on, Vivek.
You can,
Oh, okay. You gave me the spotlight. Okay, cool. What I did basically was that I arrived here on 20th August. So I just, on the insurance form, I just fill it up that I want my insurance to start from 20th August and got a confirmation back in India. So basically, your money starts ticking from 20th August.
Okay.
so if it's like this, you apply for the home insurance from India, you fill up all the details. They have a particular student package itself, and you can choose the insurance to be valid from the day you leave your home to Netherlands. And this also includes the travel insurance from the time you leave your home till you reach Netherlands. And after you reach Netherlands, the usual insurance will be applicable. You need not pay for it because it requires your Netherlands bank account. So what happens is after you come over here, you do the formalities of your bank account, and then you'll have the option to enter your bank details in the insurance page, and then it starts getting deducted from your account. So until then, your insurance is still valid.
Okay. So I can just show the confirmation. I mean, the insurance company gave me, and then as the document
Yes.
in the airport.
You will get a complete policy document once you register for it.
Yeah, they don't really check if you paid the money or not. You just need to have a document.
Okay. Thank you.
Things to bring, Nitin.
Good morning, everyone. So I'll be handling the things to bring section. Not really essential, but what about board games and such? Are they cheaper in India? There's actually a store in the center where you buy board games, and during King's Day or some days where they have sales, you actually get like very cheap stuff. And if you are with your roommates, you can also pitch in with them. So I definitely think it might be cheaper than in India.
And there's
Unless you already have board games in your home and bring it here.
And
there's
think
a
about the space.
variety of games here.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of games over here.
The variety is there, no. And another thing about cheaper, right? You can how much space you have, it depends on that, because you can use the space for board game to bring something essential actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those who want to bring musical instruments, they can do that. Like some people actually did that, but they don't have that much space in their luggage also.
Have a good time.
Huh?
Yeah. No, bring all the musical instruments you can. Nice.
Instruments actually, there's X-Delft over here where you can they have band rooms and music stuff, music rooms and all. Where if you're a X-Delft member, you can actually go there, practice, and even perform also if you're very good enough with their bands and all. So it's pretty good actually, not bad.
And you can always buy it from the Facebook Marketplace. Like that's the go-to place for anything secondhand.
Yeah, that is also there.
Because this is a country where they use a lot of secondhand items.
Exactly.
They actually value it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very sustainable also, and you get really good quality. Sometimes your monitors might be broken. I just had an incident last time. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, now everyone is buying ukuleles and all. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people.
Someone in this chat I know who bought a ukulele. I don't know who.
Yeah. Okay.
Next question, please.
This is from. So I've arranged this per person. So this is from one single person. I don't know. I don't remember who it was.
Okay. Please brief about the document verification process at university and with the local municipality. The local municipality, the registration is required for you to get your BSN number or the citizen number. So what all are the documents that they use to verify? I'm not sure about that. But in university, they use all this birth certificate and your degree certificate, provisional certificate also. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They just check it and then they'll see like, oh, you have the originals. So no worries. No doubt that Delft has a. Is there anything you want to add? First years, I'm not sure. Nitin, I don't remember.
Nitin, the municipality requires the housing contract basically.
Yeah.
And,
passport copy.
Yeah, and if you're not in Delft, like I don't stay in Delft, so I need to even give my apostille birth certificate also.
Yes.
So if you're,
you need to bring a birth certificate apostille.
Yeah. So if you don't stay in Delft and if you stay somewhere else, you need that. So get that.
Yep.
No doubt that Delft has a big library. Will it provide all materials I would require during my studies, or will I have to buy some books? Yeah, the Delft library is very big, and you can take materials. Even the online library is also there. And yeah, most of your reading materials, professors will make it accessible to you by giving you PDFs, and also you can also buy it from the local bookstore, Whatman, and even from EMCS. Like there is ETV, student organizations. They send your what do you say? They actually give you books also. So it's a matter of preference, and all the material is available. So no worries about that. And there's always Amazon also.
And notebooks, if you want to buy cheaply, like you don't need to buy it, but you can get it freely in every department. I think.
Yeah, notebooks. Yeah, I was coming to that. There's a question about stationery over here also.
A lot of people also use iPads.
That I can elaborate on that also.
Do I need to buy a high-end laptop to cater to all my academic needs, or does the university have sufficient computer facilities that will require software access to students? So about this, it's better to buy a high-end laptop based on the softwares that you'll be using to your course. Like, and some of the softwares are already accessible to you when you have your TU Delft ID. Some of the softwares are given free access to you. And
I'd actually put a list about this on the Telegram group long back.
so and
What you can do is you can just search on Google, just type TUDELF softwares and you'll get a list
Tutor
of
software.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can go through that. So softwares, some of them are free, and even some big companies have a tie-up. So if you register through your student ID, you'll get it for free, like
Yeah.
really expensive softwares and all. And about the requirements for laptop, it depends on what, like Nitin said, what softwares you want to run.
Yeah.
For example,
But I can tell you, like, fixing a laptop over here is very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
I spent
actually
200 euros to fix
getting
my
any
laptop.
services, getting any extra services is very expensive.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind also.
Yeah, that and like, just to answer the question, right, where he's telling that computer facilities is it sufficient in the university? Yes, you have all the facilities in the university to use your softwares. There are systems, there are places where you can go and work.
Yeah.
But the suggestion would be try to
Yeah.
get a laptop at least that can cater to some basic things where you can work from home and you need not go to the university for everything. And especially the current situation with the COVID, you might not get access to the university at all times.
Yeah.
Be capable of doing it from your home. So just keep that in mind. And
I mean,
yeah,
And I think it's
For,
very department specific, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
when you're an MSc student, like in your second year thesis, like you will have MSc rooms allocated to you with a workstation just for you.
No,
Especially
not
if
necessarily.
your computer is on this thing, simulations, project is on simulations or modeling. So it depends upon faculty wise. Some
Yeah.
faculties have computer rooms and all, but getting that computer is not always a guaranteed thing. So you have to keep that in mind as well. And sometimes classrooms also are held on those lab rooms. So you can't again like say give it a sure shot answer for that. And mainly with those faculties available at all. Okay, this is during exam times.
Library 8 a.m. it starts, it ends at 2 a.m. But if you don't during exam time, if you do not reach at 8 a.m., you won't get a space to sit.
But again,
No,
this is during
but-
COVID situation. Like I'm not sure. Like they might space it out and all. So again,
Yeah.
like getting access to it is going to be very tough.
Even more tougher, yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's
just get your own laptop.
Yeah, I think that is the best call.
yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's
if you have seen the recent statement by the rector, he's telling that the access to the university will be based on pin code, based on where you stay. So they are gonna phase out. Like you have to come to the university in phases.
Mhm.
Oh.
Okay. So that's the end of things to bring questions. And we have some questions in the other side. I think the most number of questions are in this section.
Crazy ones.
Yeah. I'll read them out so everybody can look at them. Due to the rise in this cases, so I think this is a question about COVID. Our final semester exams has been delayed, so I would like to know whether I can submit my professional degree certificate and transcripts within a stipulated amount of time. I think you should write. This is an academic thing. You should directly contact TUDELF regarding this.
No, we actually asked this during our meeting yesterday. There's not pretty much anything that they can do about that. You can always email them and tell them about your case. That's pretty much it.
Because it is not a what you can call a generic answer that they can give for everyone. It is case to case basis.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I'm not guaranteeing this. As far as I know, provisional degree certificate is accepted, because from my batch also, especially students who had just finished their bachelor's and were joining, had this option where you can just submit the provisional, but there is a time duration within which you have to submit the original.
Oh yeah, I actually submitted my provisional, so no worries about that.
Yeah, provisional is sufficient.
Okay,
but provisional is needed. But without provisional, I don't think you can.
Yeah, provisional is a must.
You need a certificate that you actually passed your course.
Yeah.
So when should
transcript is not needed.
Since now there is a clarity on commencement of course. So course is also going to start on the date the usual calendar is going to be. So it's depending on your company, you might need like a 3 months or 4 months notice period. So follow that. If it's a 3 months, then now is the perfect time. If it's 2 months, then maybe you can take a little more time to resign. But if you're actually sure of coming to then follow your company's instructions.
There's someone with raised hand, Pranava Satish.
Yeah. So I had a doubt regarding this final year degree provisional
You're not audible.
You're not
Please.
audible, Pranav.
Hello.
Can you speak closer to the mic?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hear me now?
No, you're getting cut off.
You can type it out.
Yeah, sure.
Right, now we can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah. Now it's perfect.
Yeah, so regarding this final year degree certificate, so in Karnataka and all, it's getting postponed. So the exams are in like July end or in the first week of August. So we'll not be getting the provisional degree certificate if it gets delayed. So can we like can our parents courier it later on, like in the month of September first week or second week? Is it possible?
This you need to mail it the ESA contact
Yeah.
center. You need to mail them, ask this particularly.
Yeah, and I
With your-
think one more thing is that when you come to UDELT and when you register yourself as a student over here, we need to give you a provisional certificate, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as I remember, we did that. So yeah, as Vivek said, like email the ESA guys or your study advisor at your faculty.
Thank you so much.
Aditya, I don't have study advisor at this point. ESA would be
Okay.
the
Oh, ESA.
What happens is
They are not.
during the IP, and at least until last year, during the IP, they have an appointment with the college. So that is when they actually check your professional or original degree certificate. That's the only point where you actually have to show it. But then you have to show it. They'll verify it. So you need to have something in your hand. It's better you email it directly to TUDELF. Next.
Okay, thank you.
Any
Yeah,
idea?
I could answer this. Is the double masters program, like generally if you do a single masters, it's 120 credits, and if you do a double master program, it becomes 180 credits. And when you are coming with a double masters program idea, you can't complete it within 2 years. Like even if you do a single degree also, it takes time. But the double masters of course stretches for 3 years, and it has a major thesis and a minor thesis involved. So I do remember there was a person known as Ridhima Shinde. She graduated as a breast graduate of TU Delta as well in 2018. So she did a double masters at the faculty of EECMS and TPM. But again, I think what you could do is you could first come over here, get a feel of your first quarter, and then you can apply for a double masters as well. It's not that you need to apply for double masters before you come here. Yeah.
Thanks to ISA. Oh. I've been watching your videos on YouTube. One of the guy was saying that wish to have Dutch education system.
Oh, that's me. Yeah.
Please, can somebody elaborate on Dutch education system?
Yeah. So in India, you have the 6 months. You have your 1 semester. Over here, it's 3 months. So so your subjects are like 3 months, and you get your final exam. It's just very hectic because like there's also a lot of group assignments and all, and you have to keep up with everyone, coordinate with everyone, and it becomes a little overwhelming compared to Indian education. Like you can always keep everything in the final minute, just write the final exam and be done with it. But this is not the case over here.
You have to be proactive. You have to keep
like
the thing.
it becomes
Yeah, the workload of subjects is exactly like a semester, to be honest.
I actually knew that before coming here, and still I thought like, "I chalega India."
On Gary's point of proactiveness, another thing I would like to point out here is in India, most of the things are kind of spoon-fed. In the sense, you have a structure, you just need to follow it. That's it. But here, it is up to you how you design your program, which courses you want to take, and it is up to you to ensure that you meet the minimum requirements. For example, if there are 4 tracks in a program, and this also depends, varies from faculty to faculty. But I'll just tell from the experience of my own program. I belong to TIL, Transport Infrastructure and Logistics. So I have 4 tracks in my program, and it is up to me that I meet the minimum requirements to fulfill one particular specialization. No one tells you that, okay, you're doing wrong, or this is not required, or this is what you should do. It is up to you to satisfy that requirement, check what is needed, check which course is available is in which quarter. So you need to do that proactively. I think, you'll get used to it, because the first quarter is for most of you, it will be already self-enrolled, something like that. Like it'll automatically be enrolled for the courses.
Yep.
You'll
And
have
also
time.
you have the freedom to choose your electives like quite freely, or you can take it from any department at any time you want, like provided it's offered at that time. You can take courses multiple times. Like nobody's going to judge you if you get if you take an exam again and again if you want to improve your grade. So
And like
that's one thing which is an important point to be pointed out. Aditya, you can talk about this.
like
I
Vivek,
don't think I have nothing to add to that.
Vivek said, nobody's going to take care of you. That's the most important part, because in India, you have professors and teachers behind you asking, "Are you done? Why aren't you submitting your assignment or thesis?" Here, nobody, even your roommate or your housemate, will know what you're doing. So it's up to you. It's like a independent world. You need to take care of yourself, and there is enough opportunity to do everything here. It's sports, culturals, parties, everything happens. So you need to allot your time for studies. So that's all up to you, how you schedule your things and prioritize.
Yeah.
So you need to
Yeah.
start doing that. And of course, it's a lot about group work. So you meet a lot of people at the same time. You get frustrated that you are in a bad group, or people don't really react to what you're saying. So all these things happen, but it's also there in the professional world. So it's not a perfect world out there. So it's just a preparation for that. So come prepared with an open mind, and I think you'll get adapted to the situations here. Don't worry.
I think I will add one thing over here, is that just that things over here are very punctual. So, like being on time is the biggest struggle over here. So, be on time. Like that's the main thing.
Yeah, it might be minus
Like Aditya.
Best
Like
person
we-
is saying, yeah.
it
if
might
you
be
take-
it might be
Yeah.
2 degrees and raining, and they're not going to accept your excuse that it was raining in the morning.
Yeah.
Rain is no excuse here. It rains almost every day.
Even if you die, you still have to submit your assignment before you die. So that's how it is over here. Like there's no excuse.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Can you please provide knowledge on the local available stores for groceries? Yeah. For groceries, like we already mentioned, we have Indian. If you're talking about Indian shops, we have a shop called Bahar, and then some other Indian and Asian shops where you can buy almost all
Should I?
masalas and
We'll
condiments.
release a Life and Death video about it in probably 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
Achha.
still happening. Okay.
Should I elaborate more on this? Because
Yeah,
I live near the store, so I can tell them.
And
if you want.
then there are supermarkets like Yombo, where you get, it's a typical European supermarket. You get almost everything: bread, vegetables, meat, whatever. And Albertine. So there's like a list of 3 or 4 major supermarket chains. And for furniture, you have shops like IKEA, which is around 3 kilometers from here. You can get your basic stuff when you come here in the first week. And it's pretty cheap if you go to IKEA, but don't go to all these designer shops that you see. There are some, Ketan, can you mute? Yeah, thank you. There are some designer shops and specific shops where you don't have to buy. They're expensive. Just look for the best option online first before you go out. Stationery shops, there are shops on campus. Off also, there are very cheap shops.
Action is cheap for stationery.
There are like, you'll figure it out when you come here. You don't really.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell. Like, no need of knowing everything. Have something for surprise also, right?
Yeah.
Basically, come here and
You'll be visiting Delft, sitting there. It's
just know that everything is available. Don't worry. Even if it's not India, there are Indian things available, especially with respect to food. I know a lot of people have problems with that. They're scared of the food will be okay. It will be okay. You have everything is available here, except very specific things that might be related to your culture or your region. If anybody wants to add to this, please.
Gary, can we talk about bikes? They're talking about that in the chat. I think we should address that issue.
Yeah, bikes. So basically, you need a bike. So I heard someone in the group say, is it necessary to have a bike? It is necessary to have a bike. So if you don't know how to ride a bicycle, please start learning, because everything here is based on bike. There is public transport, but it's very expensive. And there are no taxi or rickshaw. Whenever you want, you can just call a rickshaw and go. There's nothing like that here. So it's all on bikes. And there are 2 options you can do. You can come here and wait for a bike sale, or at least go for a second-hand bike, which is available in second-hand bike shops, or you can find it online on websites, or mostly in Facebook groups. That's one option. Otherwise, you can buy a new bike. Second-hand bike might be around, let's say, 50 euros plus, depending on the condition and the brand and everything. 50 euros, it can go up to whatever, depending on the condition of the bike. And the new bike will be, I think, a minimum 120 or 100 euros for the basic B-twin from Decathlon.
There is Decathlon for Indians always. Like,
Yeah.
you can see most of the Indians are riding the same kind of a bike.
You can check out
Just-
decathlon.nl for
Yeah.
all the bikes. in
Yeah.
India.
Can I add
Let me-
something?
Just add on
Also,
to that.
go to a decathlon next to your house, and if you want to try it out, it's all the same because they import to India from France. It all comes from Europe. It's actually more expensive in India. The
Can I
decathlon.
add something in this, Gary?
I'll add.
Sorry, Siddharth. Yeah.
So one thing is that when you actually come over here, everybody knows that everybody is gonna be in a need of a bike, so the prices are usually higher. But like if you can sustain for, it is difficult. But if you suppose staying near college, probably you can like not have for at least 2 months and just probably use swap fees or something for 2-3 months, and when the prices go down, buy a cheaper bike at
Can you
that time.
elaborate a
It's
little bit
about
on
saving
swap
money
fees?
versus your comfort zone.
Siddharth, can you please elaborate a little bit on swap fees and these OVPs?
More bikes. Hmm.
So if you see swap fees, when you come over here, like for our time, there was an offer where you could take at least like 11 or 13 euros a month you pay. For 3 months, you get that student pricing. So swap fees is good, but for swap fees, you need a Dutch banking account. So that is one thing.
That takes 1 month.
Yeah, that takes
Yep.
1 month. Like I have a friend over here who has no bike.
Oh, by the way, swap fees it's like a
Yeah.
public
Tell them.
Rental bike. Like it's a rental bike agency.
It's a
so
lease
you don't
bike.
really have
Yeah.
to figure out much. You can
You will get
take
more
it up.
details in the website. That is fine. And Ketan had a question over here. Maybe you can unmute yourself.
And I think for bikes, basically the best part is that buy good locks. Always be aware of stolen objects. Like before buying from someone, just make sure that it's not stolen or something. Because
Yeah, if
you
you're
can get
getting
into
a
trouble.
bike that looks like it's functional for less than 50 euros, I'd like be careful because buying a stolen bike is still a crime, even if you didn't know.
Hmm.
Okay.
Ketan has a question.
Yeah, Ketan wants to talk.
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so my question is COVID related, as the situation is not so well in India and Netherlands also. So I'm a little bit confused about to come to Delft at that time because, as you suggest, that there are going to be a session somewhat that you're going to attend, go to the college for some time, and then mostly it will be on online. So I just want to know, is it going to be for a few months and how my future prospects will be affected accordingly? Is it because of COVID, the job scenario will be different after 2 years? And how long it's going to stretch? If it stays for 2 to 3 months, then it's well. Otherwise, the exposure of what we all are looking for will not be as what we planned of coming to Delft.
Okay, so I think I would
Can-
answer over here is that I think this scenario is even worked up by the IMF as well about what will be the exposure of how will it affect. But then I think that's a very subjective kind of question. I believe Vivek and Nitin, Gary,
Yeah.
Gopal.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I'll just
Yeah.
let me answer the first part of his question. First of all, how is the quarter gonna be when it starts?
Yeah.
Yesterday we had a meeting with the vice rector. As per him, Q1 is gonna be a hybrid system. Hybrid in the sense both it's a combination of both physical classes as well as online. But only a maximum of 20% of the education for the entire university is gonna be on campus. Rest 80% is gonna be online. And this 20% I'm talking about is the maximum. They need to take a lot of other factors into account here. In this 20%, the incoming students will be given the maximum priority. The students who are already gonna go to their second years will be physical classes for them will be considered later. The first years will be the priority. And for Q1, it is for sure. Most probably, this is gonna continue to Q2 also.
Yeah, Q2 also.
These are the exact words that were told. This may continue to Q2 also. That is the information that we have right now. What will happen after Q2? They also don't know. Even the university hasn't thought about it, and we don't
Nobody
know
knows.
how it will work out. So here, when you ask about is it worth coming over here, it is very personalized decision that you need to take, because we'll not be able to answer for that. Situation is this. How good or how worthy you find it, it is based on your own personal circumstances. And Aditya, with respect to the job scenario, I think you can continue. You were talking something.
Yeah, I think over the job scenarios, yeah, it is a little bit of course, the number of jobs are a little less right now, job postings. But then, if you go to see when you would graduate something about 2022. So at that time, the market would recover, and there are potential possibilities. But then, yeah, like it's very uncertain. There could be a second wave of corona in December. Can happen anything. So I think that's a kind of a what do you call, you just hope for the best and just go ahead and take a leap of faith. So yeah.
Like as I can tell you, like the first years are more worried about getting internships, and second years right now are more worried about getting jobs. So I think like you have a 2-year what do you say, safety period.
Yeah, you have a lead time of 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a meme put up for this.
Anyways, thank you for your question, Ketan.
Yeah.
I hope that is all right with you.
Next question. I wanted to ask whether it would be better to get a laptop from home or purchase from TUDELF. Again, it depends on your budget and what softwares you'll be working on. So the laptop project basically has 3 models, like we've already talked about in the last webinar. So the highest end is, I think, 1,200 euros or something, right?
Yes.
It's a Dell XPS. So just check out the specifications of this particular laptop and see if it matches with your requirements first. So that is one thing. And another thing is about the warranty and stuff. If something goes wrong, they will do it for free here because it's a Dutch warranty. But if you're buying a laptop from India, you might have to take an international warranty, which might cost you a little bit more to take this extra warranty. And also about the connection, like the plug and things, but it's not a big deal. You can always get a converter. Yeah, so that is basically it. So it's all totally up to you. So you get a better laptop for a little cheaper price in the laptop project. But if you want to go for even a higher end laptop, it's always better to buy from your own perspective. So maybe come here and buy would be a better idea, I think, personally, because I had a bad experience of buying an Indian laptop and then getting it serviced here. It was expensive.
Yeah, see, I'll just, like, from my personal experience, see, it was a confusion for me too, whether to get a laptop from elsewhere or TUDELF. One thing is that TUDELF laptop is a steal for the price they give and the specification they have. It is a really, really good deal. But also, you have to think: do you need it? Do you need that specification? For me, I didn't need that high specification for my program, whatever I was doing. So I got a laptop that was cheaper. I think I got it from the US and got an extended warranty or something like that. But yeah, thing is that you can just think the TUDELF laptop, which is a really high-end one, do you need it for your program?
Oh, this is from one person.
Oh my.
Let's see. After paying 30,000 euros, how much extra euros should I keep with myself to spend on other stuff like housing, caution deposit? Yeah, so 30,250 is, I think, the fees that you already paid. That includes your first year tuition fees plus almost 10,000 euros of living expenses. So this 10,000 euro or 10,000 something will be debited back into your Dutch bank account once you have a bank account here. So then basically you've just paid the tuition fees. So that is done in order to make sure that you have enough money to live with in the Netherlands. That is one thing. And this extra thing. So if you're going for this housing caution and all, if you're going for duo housing, you will most definitely have to pay 3 months extra money as a caution deposit or like a advance payment. So that depends on which housing you are choosing. So let's say your basic rent is 500 euros, and then that means around 1,500 euros you'll have to deposit right now itself. So that is 1,500 plus you need some money for travel. Let's say have like 200 euros or something, 300 euros in your pocket on your Forex card or as cash with you when you're traveling. And then after you reach here, you need to buy some basic stationaries and things for your kitchen and your room. So that also requires, let's say, around 200 or 300 euros bike, another 150 to 200 euros or plus depending on your. So it's let's say 1,000 to 1,500 euros extra other than your housing. It's okay to have money in your Forex card. You can always spend it in your supermarket and finish it off. So it's better than not having money in your card. Okay, if anybody wants to add or make comments on that.
This is fine. I think I would recommend that you keep the as he said, around 2,000 euros extra for partly in cash and partly in your forex card. I think this was discussed
Forex
before.
card is always better than
Yeah.
having it in cash.
Yeah, just
Especially
get
now it's a contactless payment and all. It's always good
Yeah.
to have, and also make sure you get this contactless payment wala card, because here everybody has like the Wi-Fi, that card. I don't know what it's called.
Contactless payment. Yeah, no, it's the same. I think.
even in India also it's there. So I think in it.
Yeah, NFC. Yeah.
NFC.
Oh yeah,
According
yeah.
to how much it costs to live and study in Delft for 2 years, if we consider an average middle class. We're all average middle classes. Aditya, how much does it cost with the dollar?
For me, right? For me, weekly goes up to 120 euros sometimes. So it completely depends. Like I eat a lot. I need some fresh air. So compensating for everything, it goes. Yeah, but I think Vivek or Nitin or Gary would have lower expenditure.
I would say monthly around 120 to 150 euros for groceries.
What?
Yeah,
For
or
grocery.
let's say 200 euros per month for grocery. Not even 200, 120 to 200.
So I'm talking about 100 a week, including everything like groceries, food, whatever you want. Like toilet
He doesn't
paper.
cook for himself, but that's why. Like,
Yeah. By the way, he gets food from outside. That's why he did that expensive. I don't think it's going to be that expensive.
Yeah. If it, so
if you're cooking with your roommates and all, like if you're cooking and stuff like that, you cut down your cost like a lot. So don't
Also,
get it.
But it also depends on if you're living in a studio.
And all, it's okay. It's just keep cutting down. The food from outside is basically very expensive. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. Any
It's
study
very
base you
expensive.
do?
It's very expensive not to cook.
Also liquor and booze, whatever you're buying, it's all expensive. So that's like a personal thing. You need to like maybe make a mark. How much am I going to spend each week, or what is my basic food routine? So write that down, and then you will get a basic idea. So just know that the groceries, usually vegetables and milk and stuff, are always €1, €1.5, €2 maximum. Meat chicken could be around €5 or €6 per kilogram. Beef and mutton will be like around €10 per kilogram. So make a chart for yourself. How is the COVID-19 scenario there? You ought to seem pretty chill and relaxed.
Yes.
Pretty it's a lot better than it was.
All that glitters is not gold.
I think we all lost hope. So we just accepted it. Like,
Come on, Aditya.
What?
It's a lot better than it was right now, and we're definitely towards the tail end of the curve. So things are getting better here. They
Jobs are opening up.
the lockdown back in June.
Getting back
friends again. So it's pretty good.
It's a ray of sunshine, man.
First of all, you see it is just a new normal. You just need to get adapted, and you always have your gang around you. So gang helps you be pretty chilled and relaxed.
Yeah. Vivek was on point.
Let's
the gang is the one who helps you move along.
Okay, move.
As the COVID-19 affected jobs or internship, I think that's already answered. Does Indian experience carry an advantage for getting jobs?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think over here you need a Dutch experience to get a job.
Oh, no.
Like it's more like I think you need to know how to approach people, which I don't think as Indians we know to do it really well. But what I would suggest is that, of course, the way I think as Indians we always have a better knack for things. Like we're a little more better street smart than the Dutch people. But at the end of the day, do understand that how your Dutch people look out for potential hires. So talk to your seniors and other people around you.
Yeah, just make friends, make networks.
Yeah.
Talk to people, be open. That's basically it. That's also added to that Dutch education.
Yeah, and I think in this situation, having a good network is very important because even companies who aren't looking for posting on their jobs on the net, you can easily get it through not easily, but it becomes much easier to get it through a contact internship / job.
Question: in an average scenario, how quickly does an Indian guy lands a job after UDEL? I think you should
Okay.
look at the webinar by Abhin and Sai,
Yeah.
internship and job opportunities
Yeah.
webinar.
Best
Or
practices webinar in
best
Say
practices
Delft
webinar.
YouTube.
So they've covered it very well.
Yeah.
So
But but then like I just add here, it's very subjective. It depends upon the course. Some people get it right after they graduate. Some people take some time. So yeah, I've watched that thing and it's very subjective.
And if you need a quantitative answer to this, as per the TU Delft Career Center, they tell it is 4 months for as the average time, not as an Indian. 4 months is the average for anyone to get a job. This is again based on a very averaged number. So it is just
as TU Delft is the TU Delft going to reduce the fees? As I say no.
We met with the university and the vice president yesterday, and the fees are set by the central government, and so the university can't reduce fees or waive any of the fees. We have spoken to them about it, but it's not an option.
Okay.
It has been represented represented quite like what do you call, all possible platforms. It has been done.
Like everyone who can hear about it has heard about it from us, but it's not in their hands either.
Yep.
Has the Dutch government given any relaxation with respect to part-time jobs or extending the Zokyar visa? Has ISA put out some petition for this? With part of this, the part-time jobs part, relaxation.
There is actually a petition though. I mean, I have seen.
No, it is.
The petition is there. The petition is there. We've talked to that, but it's about the relaxation part.
No, and another thing is that this doesn't come, like, I don't know how this is important for a person coming now, because your Zokyar will be applicable only after 2 years. So I don't think you need to worry about it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't put a petition right now for the Zokyar after 2 years. So I don't
exactly.
Is it possible to take educational loan from European banks once you reside there? I heard educational loan rates are very cheap there. I was planning to take loan from my second year.
You can't take a loan unless you have certain documents which show that you are a resident over here. Yes, Gopal, that's what I believe.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
how it works.
but I think you need to be a citizen at least.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'm not aware of the particular documents, but the general framework is like this. You have to have a source of income in order to show them, which you can't show. I mean, when you're a student, you can't show your part-time job as a source of your income. So there's no collateral for you to just take a student loan. And for the other advantages, just as a student or on this one, since you're not a citizen, you can't avail that benefit.
Yeah.
So. But what I've heard is that once you start working, and some people have done that, you can avail a loan over here at a cheaper rate and then maybe pay back the loan back in India.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is the fare of flights usually from Delhi to Netherlands? Is there no direct flight? How much usually is an average Indian goes to home?
There's definitely direct flights.
Charges usually around 40 to 50,000 in peak hours, because last year I think almost all of us had that range of. I think if you get a ticket really early on, you might get it for like in the 40s, but I think not less than that.
I got it for 22.5.
Oh, when was that? Oh yeah,
April. See, it varies a little. I can give you a general range also. Etihad was around March end until March 31st. Emirates were giving out flight tickets from Bangalore for around 22,000, but after March 31st, it suddenly jumped to 38,000 from Bangalore 1
week time.
Yeah, and in April, Etihad until around I think April to May, June, they were giving out within sub 25,000, within 25,000 only.
So it depends basically on when you are traveling. So they know that August, September is usually the time when students go abroad to study. So it usually gets a little bit higher. And also you have to look at your offers for this. You need to have a good baggage allowance as well. Some flights don't really have a lot of baggage allowance, but the rates might be cheaper. So just compare all that. How much usually an average Indian goes to home during this course? How many times? Depends.
It's actually It's actually very subjective. I know people who have gone at least 4 times to their houses in the first year itself, and there was me who did not go even once. So I think so. It's very subjective. If you want to go home, catch a flight as easy as that.
Yeah.
And first of all, your workload should permit that. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it is so easy to just go home and come, because apart from your individual academic, you'll be a part of an assignment group. So you can't just leave the group. You need to be along with them.
Especially during the academic time, no. But during the quarter break or a summer break, maybe you can go. Why do you want to spend that much money to travel in Europe and places? But that's totally up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the sem break is also like 10 days, so that's another thing.
Okay, another long list of questions. According to ICMR India, peak may come in July. So if EU bans India from flying, then what to do?
Oh my God.
Come on.
What do we do about this?
Yeah.
Do international students do part-time jobs often? I heard you have to choose between 3 months part-time jobs of 10 hours. Which one is preferable? First of all, getting a part-time job, I think you should come here and look at how your academics go.
Yeah.
It's not very easy to do part-time plus your academics.
Yeah, the
Especially in the first quarter. Once you come here and see how your academics is structured, it's pretty hectic. You need to put in a lot of hours, and you might be in your class or in college from 8:45 to maybe 6 o'clock or something. And then you don't really want to go do part-time job. And also getting a part-time job is not that easy. So come here and experience this, and then the rest you can figure it out. It's also dependent on the provider of the work, whoever is hiring you. They'll tell you to come for this many hours, and that's it. You can't decide for yourself.
And quite a few of them require knowledge of Dutch language. For example, if you want to look in for a library, like to work in the library, I guess you need to know Dutch. I guess if I'm not wrong.
Even in these public sectors like cafeterias or bars. And
Yeah. So I think
people are working, which might not need. But yeah, you figure it out when you come here. During studying, is there any chance of working in startups as a part-time?
I think Aditya knows this, no?
No, but then again, the point over here is that what I was going to say, I blanked out. Oh yeah, as Gary mentioned again, your workload. Of course, you have the opportunity to work at startups, but then at the end of the day, like I was there at a place which did not pay me anything, but then I did it for the fun of doing it. So there are chances of doing that, but I don't know if you're expecting remuneration. That's a different thing.
Opportunities here, you can do whatever you want. You can go for music, sports, or even be in associations. You can do everything. But prioritize your things. If academics is more important, then give it more importance.
I just remembered right now is that generally you are like you associate the American culture over here. Like a lot of people go to do their masters in America, and these things are valid there. The European culture is a little different. So yeah, I think once you come out here, you will figure out by yourself, and it's a wonderful experience.
Okay. Does books, stationery, and other items related to study provided by UDELF? What services students can use during? Books, there's nothing provided for free by UDELF. I mean, except for the digital content, and sometimes they give you some stuff, but most of them you have to get by yourself. And all the books, like we mentioned, are available online and in the library for free. Stationery, sometimes you get some notebooks and pens and stuff like that, but not your entire stationery list is taken over by UDELF. Other items, not much, except for the services and the free labs and computer and all these VR and 3D printing and all these. Some of them are expensive. For like example, in architecture, you need to make models and stuff, so you have to pay for that. But it's comparatively cheaper if you compare it with outside shops. What other services? Anyone? Any other answer that you want to add to this?
Services, I think access to lab. I think the fees which you pay, you get access to the library, you get access to the digital content, classroom. That's it. I don't think you get any
no materialistic things will be given in terms of stationery or books and stuff.
Get a username and password for the fees. Exact.
Yeah. What do you suggest on how to get jobs after the master course through networking? Yeah, please refer to the best practices.
Yes, I think that's it. That would give you everything. Answer everything.
You're almost no medical test. Vitamins were mentioned last time. Any corona medical test, you have to do a TB test when you're here. I think you already done the antecedents. You uploaded the antecedent form So when you're here, you'll get an email with a schedule. You have to go to the Hague, to the medical center. They'll just test you for this, and if you're fine, then it's fine. That you don't really have to follow up on that. If you have TB, then they'll come and get you. But yeah, don't worry. That's the only medical test that you have to do. Vitamins, vitamin D is something that. So this whole winter summer thing, and there's a lack of sun for almost half a year. So it might be hard for us to acclimatize ourselves to this whole climate here in Delft. So especially in the beginning of Q2, that's when it starts getting cold here in November, December. So you'll feel sleepy even if you're not sleepy. You might be drowsy all day throughout. So have vitamin D tablets. You don't have to get it from home also. You can do a test at home. You can do all your vitamin tests and basic checkups and see if there's anything lacking. But you can still get these tablets here also in supermarkets. Corona related tests, the usual thing. If the airport security does that, then do that. You don't have to do anything by yourself.
No, the government is giving it for free here anyways.
Just an update on that. I just read a news that the EU nations are slowly ramping up their their demand for corona negative certificates. So there's no, as of now, Netherlands doesn't have that. But in the coming days, based on how the situation develops, they might bring that into place. So just keep yourself updated. Just check this, check for the news. If it is there, you will definitely get to know.
When you're on the date of your travel or during the time of your travel, see what the situation is and then follow.
Yeah, and I'm sure that if there is something like that, the university will communicate it to you.
Yeah, I think we're almost done with the questions. Fee payment. I don't know what the person.
Yeah, what is this question? I was like,
fee payment.
Fee payment. Foolish.
When to pay as soon as possible if you're sure to come to TU Delft. How much to pay? I think the number was already there, 30,000 something, which half 10,000 is the living expenses you refunded to you, and it's only the first year tuition fee. Second year ka you pay it after first year. Yeah. Necessary to pay the fees ASAP if we are likely not to obtain housing through Duo. Are there any other reasons we should pay the fees quickly? Because I would like a bit more clarity from university about the start of the new program. Okay, if you don't want to obtain housing through Duo, then you can extend your fee payment till July or whenever the deadline is for you. That's okay. But then the question is, how are you going to find housing? You don't really need to pay the fees to find housing, but you can do that on yourself. Yeah, then I think that answers.
Just an update to you all. There will be no extension with respect to your deadline for fee payment. So whatever the deadline is there currently, it's applicable.
Considering the total cost of academic and living expenses of 50 lakhs, I wanted to know how much of the same can be covered by part-time jobs with one semester not working and with classes and regular life at Delft. How much on average the people are able to make to? Okay. I think there's a restriction of 20 hours per week, if I'm not wrong.
18.
No, 16. It's actually
16. It's 16.
No. See, before all the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Just keep this in mind. If you're not studying and you are working here, you'll be extending your studies. And by extending your studies, the extra fee you pay is nowhere near what you earn from part-time jobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just keep that in mind and then talk about numbers, because it's not practical.
Yeah.
And even TA jobs, like for example, like in my department, aerospace, even TA jobs don't give a lot of money per week. Gopal, how much was it? I guess 12 or 13, right? Euros.
Yeah, I think it's 12, 13 and up.
Yeah.
It's actually very subjective. It even depends from department to department as well.
Ah, yes, that's true.
Because at our
Gary can answer that again. Right?
Part-time.
No, I think you are getting it right.
No, I'm not getting it. I stopped it. So you get around 14 euros is the thing for TU Delft teaching assistant, but it's not very easy to get that also because there are very limited spots and you're asked to choose.
The pay is also on a pay scale linked to how many ECTS you have at that time.
Yeah.
And then the part-time jobs outside college, like in restaurants and all, it's I think even cheaper, like 10 euros or lesser, 10, 11 euros. That's the range. So you can imagine, like you can calculate. How does TU Delft provide need-based scholarships? I don't think so.
Don't think they do.
No, they just have the excellence scholarship and faculty scholarship. That's it. And then there are the other outside agencies like Holland and Orange.
Nuffic, yeah, I mean, most of the scholarships which are mentioned are clearly there on their website. I mean, if there's anything else, as far as I know, you have ASML, you have Nuffic, but then Nuffic, I mean, it's not really applicable for us. So,
Yeah, this is the last question actually. We're done with the questions from the form. And of course, I mentioned about this booklet in the beginning of this webinar. We'll be making it available to you. I think most of the things are already covered in the Telegram group already. So these are questions just repeating the same things. But you can go through it just to make sure that everything is clearer if you want to. Yeah, so if anybody wants to come online and show their face or
Ask questions. Yeah.
ask something,
Interactive questions. Or
can
just
you
chit
talk
chat
about
also.
IP? Okay, so IP basically is a like a 1 week extended party plus getting to know your campus. It's a very chilled out week. Apparently, maybe the most chilled out week in your 2 years here. So you will be assigned to a group with the IP coach from second year.
Gary, I
there's
think there is
updates
a
about
change
that.
this time.
So yeah, based on what we spoke to them yesterday,
Oh.
the current plan is to do a 3-day physical and 7-day online type of activity where everyone gets.
So I was just explaining what IP.
Yeah, that is fine. But tomorrow, yesterday there were
this-
much more updates about
So
IP.
it's going to be basically it's going to be a phased thing where the majority of it happens off campus in an online setting, and some you will spend some time on campus in person with a small group, getting to know the campus, getting to know the people.
And the group is based on your programs also. It's not random like how we had during our IPs.
Yeah, so it's a shame, but yeah, there's nothing else we can do about that. For searching the job, postmasters is one allowed to stay in the housing. No, you can't stay in the student housing once you graduated. So once you graduated and your contract ends, you have to move out and find another place for yourself. So usually people start looking 2 or 3 months before graduating itself to find a decent place. So by the end of your academic period, it gets really harder to find a place for you because Delft is a city where it's really hard to find housing. Extension is possible sometimes if you don't look. So okay.
That's
The
right.
visa process, sorry, because they haven't yet begun and studies are proposed to start as scheduled. How do the deadlines? Yeah, visa process hasn't started. Visa doesn't really take a lot of time because if you have it approved from TU Delft, it's applied from TU Delft, and all you have to do is schedule an appointment at the embassy, and usually you get it within 1 day in Delhi if the crowds are not that much. But please follow whatever time they're giving, like a deadline or like a maximum period that the Delhi embassy and the Mumbai embassy will be giving you. But it won't take much time, so don't worry about that. Is booking a flight required for visa? Is it?
no,
No.
it's only for Shenzhen, not for MVV.
Yep, not for this.
Yeah, not for this.
But see, everywhere in the communication, the TU Delft will tell that you should book the flight only after your visa has been approved. They send this suggestion everywhere. Officially, yes, they can tell only that. But we would suggest, in order to get a better price, book it, because the chances of visa not getting approved is very, very less. Because once you've paid the fees, unless someone has a criminal case against them, you will be getting the visa.
Are there any seniors doing part-time? Yeah, there are people who do part-time jobs. There are, but it's not easy to find all of them. We have some friends who do that. Is the current scenario at what date should we arrive in the Netherlands? See, it's always good to arrive maybe 1 or 2 weeks before your classes start. And also, please check out the IP. Did they give a IP schedule yet?
I don't.
Not yet.
No, but
good to come.
Just a minute, Gary.
Yeah.
On the IP, right? I'll just give me 1 second. Unofficially, I can just tell you that it is most probably gonna be 14th of August. Most probably, yeah. Just wait for the official information.
Yeah.
It is going to start on 14th of August. And another about the arrival thing, which Gary was talking about, you need to take into account your housing contract.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just mentioning that in the chat. So make sure your housing contract is valid from the day of your arrival. Otherwise, you won't have a place to stay. And there are no restaurants or hotels here in Delft. It's a very small city, not a very touristy city. Would you recommend people who paid fees in early June to search for own house? Early June? Oh, yeah. Actually, yes. Sorry. because TU Delft has already informed that May 31st is the deadline where they can accommodate all the people in Duo. So I think it's better you search for your own housing, and otherwise you'll be in waiting list. How bad are trains in the Netherlands? Trains are not
Trains,
trains
not
are pretty
trains.
good in the Netherlands.
It's just
It
irritating.
rains a lot, but it's
Oh,
not like the rains in India. It's just a constant drizzle.
Yeah, it's a very irritating kind of rain here. It
You
just
will
Like
survive,
it's
but
like a wall of water
few
coming
minutes and it
down.
goes away.
It depends on where you're from also. I
Yeah.
think like if you're from Mumbai, I guess the rains are like way on a way lesser scale here, but it's just that you know when you go to a barber shop and you cut your hair, how he puts like sprays water. It's basically like that.
Exactly. And then there are winds also. There are like gusty winds which makes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's a
nothing
combination
stops.
of
Like
water and rain hitting your face, and you have to cycle through it, bike through it.
yeah, like the rain, nothing stops running in the rain. Like trains run on time, buses run on time. Like it's not a hindrance to anything.
Yeah.
yeah, like you'll survive. Don't worry.
Classes are suspended or traffic is blocked. Nothing like that. Everything goes.
Trains get late.
My tuition was received by them on 27th. We suggest to start searching for accommodation from other sources.
See,
Keep your option.
TU Delft has officially told that up to May 31st, you get access to the housing portal.
Yeah.
The kind of house you may not get the most preferred housing. So in that case, I would suggest try searching for other housing. Keep it in the what you can call as a contingency. You can say until you get access and you do something. But getting a house through Duo is always better.
Are there any chances of getting scholarship after the sem starts? No.
No.
Any opinion regarding the student hotel in Den Haag? You want to stay in Den Haag?
And it's actually very expensive for the services what they provide. But then student hotel is coming right next to Delft station. So
Yeah, Den Haag. Yeah, people stay there, but it's like not that they preferably go and stay in Den Haag.
yeah.
You don't
They're
have
not getting here. Yeah, then they go and stay.
It's always like good to
Refer
stay
to some years experiences of living in Den Haag, and they can just decide for them.
life in Delft.
Life and death. Again,
Life and
with another one.
Okay. What are the nearby municipalities we should look at if we look at other sources? Den Haag and Rotterdam.
Den
No,
Haag,
Rijswijk.
Rotterdam,
No,
Rijswijk.
No.
Rotterdam.
No.
Rotterdam.
Pijnacker, man.
Pijnacker. Pijnacker.
Pijnacker is the place. Like I like.
I'll give you the list. No, I'll give you the list. Delft, Pijnacker, Zoetermeer, Rijswijk, The Hague. In the south, you have Rotterdam. Gopal, is this geographically correct around Delft?
Yes.
I think it should be fine, right? Yeah.
I
But
think
Rotterdam and all is like
typed out
Yeah.
because these names are.
Type in the
Yeah,
but I think Rotterdam and all it's like pretty
Rotterdam
far.
Rotterdam and The Hague is pretty far away. Like,
Yeah.
and currently the policy is that the government wants to try and minimize students using public transport. So it's not ideal to be living in The Hague or Rotterdam.
always try to get a house in Delft. That'd be the best. Okay, how is the management and faculty? Are they generally helpful, or they do reply to emails? And I think people are pretty informal in talking, but very strict in their professionalism. So, yeah, there's a balance. But they are very strict in their profession, not when you're interacting with them. They're nice people. Guys, type what? Do we get any get gym facilities usually with the housing? No.
No.
It's really expensive to pay for it separately, right? Yes.
It's decently expensive, but it's if you get it via the university, it's reasonable.
Yeah, and it's much better as well.
You can
the
take a
facilities are
subscription
good.
of X, or you can even
Facilities are very good.
Basic fit is also.
I
Boo.
currently doesn't show any
Are
vacancy.
houses centrally heated if you're not taking up housing from Duo? Okay.
What?
Don't come to my building for this.
Are houses centrally heated? No, not centrally heated.
Non-Duo
Rooms are
houses.
heated
Yeah,
individually.
most houses.
No, this is not correct. This is very subjective. For example, if you take Roland, it is not centrally heated. Most Duo apartments have their own, like each room has its own
Room has a radiator.
But I
there.
think
radiator.
in
Yeah,
the case of
next to the window.
private housing. So
Yeah, but this is not
house-
entirely true. Like in places like Michiel de Ruiterweg, which is opposite the building opposite the architecture department, it is centrally heated.
yeah.
It
but-
depends on the building, and
Yeah.
Roland is a very old building also, so it also depends.
Yeah, it's a shit building. Just leave it, man. It's okay.
The-
Sayor currently doesn't show many vacancies on the portal. Will vacancies come up by August, or is it difficult to get house through Zion? That also is dependent on how many people vacate and things. So now a lot of people are graduating in the coming months, so there might be vacancies coming up. So keep an eye on the website. So that's all we can say right now. Any preferred housings? That's also very
Preferred
personal.
housing is again subjective.
Yeah.
Like my housing, another person likes his own housing. Yeah, but the thing is that yeah, Aditi, you're going to tell something.
I was going to say that from an outsider perspective, who lives in a very shit house compared to other duo guys. If you take my advice, like my suggestion, I find two housing over here to be the best. One is the Professor S and Sister Lawn. Like all other places are shit houses.
Hey,
No. See, on a more
I'm just
serious
joking.
note,
I'm just joking.
yeah. See, on a more serious note about preferred housings, it depends on what you're looking for. Do you want a shared one where you want to have a bit of socialization, or do you want a studio? What is your preference? Do you prefer having the supermarket or the city center nearby, or do you prefer staying closer to the university? So based on that, you can make a short list for yourself, and always have a priority list. This is what I did. Make a priority list of your housing, because once the portal opens, housing one by one they start getting over. So if you have a priority list ready, you can immediately choose the one you want. So you have studios, you have a housing which you share everything from your toilet, the kitchen, everything, and you have other things where the toilet and bathroom is built in within your room. It's private, only the kitchen will be shared. So these are the three major types that you have if it is a part of duo housing.
and also it depends on if you want to be around people. So if you have a shared kitchen and all, it will be nice to catch up with your roommates. Once it's not like you will be spending time in their rooms, but it's just during lunch and dinner you cook together. It's always nice to have some people, but it's up to you. But what I would personally suggest is to have a good community of friends here, because it's nice to have people to talk to and spend some time with in between all the academics. Okay, when and how will the deposit that you pay for finalizing the housing contract be refunded? Housing contract be refunded? Is that refunded? It's not refunded,
No.
right?
No, the
Nothing is
services is 228. I don't think so.
No,
If you
that
are
is not
getting
refunded.
a housing through Duo, it is not going to be refunded. But if you
Yeah.
don't get housing, they've already told that they'll be refunding it. I
Yeah.
don't know when exactly, because a lot of people, I don't really know the date. You must contact Duo directly or TU Delft directly. If you're asking about the fee, the living expenses that is deposited with the fee, that will be done in a month almost.
Yeah.
By October, you'll October you'll have your money in your Dutch bank account. Studios would be around 500 to 600 euros. Yeah, mostly. Not really. All and all is like 400 euros, right?
Yeah, I mean, you see, it again depends. Like, studios are usually more expensive, quite understandably. Like Profess is like a notable exception because it's a newer building and it's shared. But in general, it can go anywhere between 350 to 700 euros. It's a very wide range. It totally depends on where you live.
And for studios, you can also avail the allowance. Is
Yeah,
the
that's
Room.nl trustworthy? Room.nl trustworthy.
Yeah, Room.nl is trustworthy.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
legitimate.
Yeah, the rooms on there are all rooms that are owned by Duo.
Yeah, so the housing which is not given out to like this way, it's given out.
What is the process of applying for a rental allowance?
Should I elaborate or?
There's a government.
Just,
It's in the
there's a
booklet.
government
It's fine.
website.
Yeah, I think once
It's
they
in the
come here,
booklet.
they will figure it out. It's like
Yeah,
it's,
cool.
It's a very simple process. It's
Yeah.
just go to the website, fill it up.
are you going to explain? No, right?
No.
No, it's fine.
I think it's in the
there's a
booklet.
lot of-
Yeah,
It's in the
booklet.
dude. That's
It's in
fine.
the booklet.
the
There's
booklet.
I think that's done. Is there one more question? If anybody wants to talk, or
Yeah, just chill, dude. We are very lonely.
it's just us on the
Not we.
Nitin.
Say I. You the personal. Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
You Nitin.
Yeah.
Aditya, that chicken that you made, it's really spicy.
It's
It-
not bad.
You ate that chicken. I was going to come to your house to eat that.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay, guys. Oh, that's a question. I'll be having my professional degree, but I won't be getting my degree certificate before December. Yeah, we already answered that, right?
Yeah.
Aren't we all? How does ISM manage their expenses? Bank account.
Actually, yeah, we have a huge bank account with huge money in it.
Yeah, so much
Like
money.
Aditya,
Just that it is so much. Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut. Like my humor has
We're
to
a
be.
non-profit.
We are a non-profit organization.
Yeah, not
How
for
do you
yeah,
manage
yeah, not
your
profit.
expenses? Okay, as an organization or as individuals? It's an
Guys,
go.
guys, the SIM card thing. Let's talk about that.
SIM card. Usually, if you're getting a duo housing, they usually give you a SIM card for free in the welcome kit. You can use that. So you have things like Lebara or Vodafone.
Leica, Lebara, Vodafone. What
You have
else?
T-Mobile as well.
T-Mobile, yeah.
So
And then
it's
there's a
pretty
few local
expensive if you
providers
actually
as well.
compare it with Indian. Where you can
Guys, India has
1.5 GB
quality
per
with
day.
data. So yeah, it's ridiculously cheap to get data in India. So just remember
Yeah,
that.
data here is significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like around 10 euros. I think that starts from 10 euros, then goes to 15, 20. Is that it?
Gary, one second. I think we missed a few things. For Dhruv, provisional degree certificate, we have already answered that. Thing is that provisional degree, you can come with it, but you need to give your original later. But always better to confirm it with TU Delft. Get a mail done. And yeah, we didn't answer the question for ISA funds that the question was asked. See, every event we charge a very nominal fees for which on which the event runs. That's it. We don't make any profit out of it, and we are not sponsored by any organization or any or the university as such. For event based, we might get sponsorship based on
Average
Board members are
cost
working
of
with,
seminar expenses. Like I said, 10 euros, 15 euros. Starts from 10 euros actually. Lebara starts from 10 euros. Duo Housing is offering internet connection with housing only. Do you have LAN cables? Yeah,
Yes,
LAN
yes.
cables and routers you have to get it by yourself.
And
They only give
don't
you
rely on the LAN cables you get by default with the routers, because they're often very short, and the distance between the connection points can be any random place. For example, in Corvizi Start, one of my friends had the connection point above the kitchen, in the top part of the ceiling of the kitchen. So you need a long wire. So yeah. Get at least a meter, more than a meter's length of cable, 1.5 to 2 meters. You need it. Sure.
Do you have anything else to ask or say? Or turn on your screen, guys.
Less.
You don't get to see each other otherwise.
Yeah, why is everyone so shy? What is this?
You can't turn off your screens here. It's like you have to be proactive. You have to talk.
Yeah, exactly. Be proactive. Start the Dutch way now itself.
Yeah, you will start doing this in a few months.
Yeah.
Router in kitchen, surfing while cooking. Nice to see you guys.
Since our IP is going to be online, will ISA be having any sort of IP for us?
We actually have a welcome mat. Yeah.
We will figure it out.
No. Again, IP is going online for a reason. I don't think we are also allowed to organize a physical one.
Yeah, we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Hi, everyone.
Physical event or not, online events, always we do it. So when you guys come here, we'll do some online event. You don't worry.
Yeah, we can see Discord also. Discord also we have.
No. Actually, we have a lot of things planned for you guys. The form may be different, but yes, you will have a lot of activities. Don't worry about that.
Can we take a